This video is the most recent one released since the Paris attacks. It promises more attacks on France, threatens President Obama, French President Francois Hollande, and even threatens to blow up the White House. It follows another video released yesterday vowing to attack New York City. That one shows Times Square, a bomb being made and a man zipping his jacket over a suicide belt. Authorities say that the video reaffirms the city remains a top terrorist target, but that there's no specific threat at this time. As for this latest video, Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Harridge has more from Washington. Catherine?
Well, thank you, Andrea. In the last hour, we have watched portions of the new ISIS propaganda video where two unidentified men threatened the U.S., saying France was first and Washington is next. Fox News is electing to show only one image from the tape and not broadcast the ISIS propaganda in its entirety. The key section is 90 seconds in length, and according to a translation provided by the Middle East Media Research Institute, the ISIS speaker says, quote, "We started with you," a reference to France, "and we shall finish with the false White House, which we shall render black with our fire, Allah willing. We shall blow it up like we blew up the false idols in this good land." This is the second tape in 24 hours threatening U.S. interests. The credibility is still being assessed at this hour. Last night's tape about New York City was seen by analysts as kind of a mashup, an old ISIS video from April recycled with some new images, but as you know, no change to the already high threat level in New York City itself. Meantime, two counterterrorism sources say the confirmed death of Abdul Hamid Abuad is a major advance for the investigation, but add they are operating on the premise that more senior suspects connected to the plotter at large, and they describe Abuad to Fox as kind of the Muhammad Atta of the Paris attacks, the tactical guy, the commander on the ground who identified and pulled together the operatives in the same way the lead hijacker kept the 9/11 teams on course once they arrived inside the U.S.
That's probably most likely that he's like the platoon sergeant or lieutenant for this cell, and that he was their leader on the ground. He was their support structure to make sure that they were all coordinated, they had the right timing and right equipment and materiel they would need to carry out these attacks.
Based on our contacts, they believe that the strategic planner, kind of the Khalid Sheikh Mohammed of this operation, is still at large, and if he was in Syria, has probably moved into Iraq, thinking that may be more safe haven for him at this time, Andrea.
All right. Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Harris, I want to go to you as well because this is also breaking today. CIA Director John Brennan coming out saying that at one point when George W. Bush was in office, there was about 700 ISIS terrorists. Now he says that has metastasized into about 4,000% more. 4,000% more. What do you think about this? What are the headlines?
From what I'm reading, I'll tell you what I'm reading. And that is that part of that has happened because we, as America, didn't lead, and this is from generals and others, in terms of taking them out early on. So they weren't just building from within. They were able to recruit because it looked like there was not going to be an answer back violently from a government like ours. Our military violently on the ground anywhere. So they were able to recruit not just online, but in person. I mean, these training camps now are not just a few that are spotted and you might learn a few things, but these guys are carrying out, they may not be the level of sophistication that our special forces obviously would have, but they're able to elude those authorities in cities. What we learn now about this mastermind that was on the ground the whole time, we'll get into it in a little bit, in France the whole time, it's really interesting how these guys now can elude authorities, and they've been able to operate now for years.
And they're using our internet, Judge. I have Catherine's report right in my hand. The social media has really been integral in this. They're using hashtags. In fact, it says from the media office of the Islamic State. They have a media office, a press office, and they're using our internet. How much can we do, can the government do to put pressure on companies legally to shut this down?
Well, I mean, that's difficult. As you see with the whole Snowden effect, the pendulum swings the other way, and people say we want more liberty. We don't want the government looking over our shoulder. We don't want them reading our emails. We don't want any of that. And it's always a trade-off between personal liberties and security. If you look out your window in the middle of the night and there's somebody peering into your car, you call the police and tell them, "Hey, I think this guy's going to break into my car or steal my car." They'll come out and question them. They don't have anything to arrest them on, but they have the investigative abilities, and you want that investigative ability because without it, you don't want the police going, sorry, let us know when he commits a crime. So there's always that trade-off. And right now, you've got all those encrypted software that these terrorists are using to communicate, and we don't have the ability to penetrate that software. So you get into that internal battle of, should we be able to penetrate encrypted software? And then people rise up and go, no, I don't want the government reading my personal emails.
Before I go to Sandra and Julie, there was a case here in New York, and a federal court ruled last month here in New York that Muslims can sue the NYPD for mosque surveillance. Now, as you know, they've done away with the mosque surveillance in New York. What do you think about this? I mean, this seems to be taking away a very important tool in law enforcement's hands that they're using to bust these guys.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think that if they have done something other than surveil, I mean, you can surveil anybody. People can surveil me for no reason if they feel it's going to be beneficial in an investigation. So surveillance in and of itself is not the problem. If they're going to be interfering with their rights, stopping them unnecessarily without even a reasonable suspicion of anything, then they should have a right at that point to say, wait a minute, you need at least a threshold of reasonable suspicion to do what's called a Terry stop, a Terry frisk. But just surveillance to say, we're going to tie your hands, then all you're saying is, hey, terrorists, hey, criminals, hey, whoever, do all your stuff at a mosque, because they are prohibited from, that's a safe space for criminals, let's say.
And Julie, the White House seems to believe that if we don't provoke the terrorists, they will not come after us. And we see today that video saying that they're going to blow up the White House, that's without U.S. boots on the ground. So it doesn't seem to really make a difference. They want to kill us no matter what.
Well, look, they're provoked. The concern for me is not so much the people in Syria who are there now. The concern for me, and we saw this in France, is these are people who are French nationals, Belgian nationals, who are already here. I don't know if they're in the United States. Our Muslim community is not as radicalized as the ones in Europe.
Yet?
For very good reason. France has a lot of work to do in terms of its relationship among the mainstream communities and their Muslim communities. Their Muslim communities are a lot more segregated than ours here in the United States. But the problem and the fear is it's easier to track people coming to and from Syria. It is much, much harder to track people who are American citizens or French citizens who are here already because they have the constitutional power, authority, obviously, as you all know, Judge, that a lot of people coming from abroad don't have. And so how do you get those people? How do you even track those people? That's the fear, because unlike al-Qaeda, these are people who are living here among us, and that, I think, is the biggest threat here.
Real quickly, it was the Middle East Media Research Institute that put out that information about their PR firm, if you will, the arm of the Islamic State, and just how specific. It's called Paris Before Rome, and now they're naming these videos. Several have come out since the Paris attack.
Well, apparently they also have
this one getting a lot of attention.
Apparently
right
they
now.
also have a production company, because we've done video after video. Not that we need that. We know they hate us.
All right.